When you focus on self-improvement and radiate confidence, you naturally draw people back into your life. This isn't a coincidence or a matter of chance. It's the power of energy, intention, and the unseen laws that govern human interactions. When someone steps out of your life, it often feels like a void has been created. You might initially be consumed by thoughts of what went wrong, the things you could have done differently, or why the connection faltered in the first place. But in truth, this space isn't an ending, it's an opportunity. It's a chance for you to redirect your focus inward, to shift your energy from seeking outward validation to nurturing your inner world. This transformation begins when you decide to turn away from the external and invest in yourself. In moments of loss or separation, the natural instinct might be to chase after the person, to seek closure, or to try to bridge the gap immediately. But this approach often creates the opposite effect. It pushes people further away. The more you try to hold on to someone who has chosen to walk away, the more they feel the need to distance themselves. This is because chasing after someone energetically communicates lack, desperation, and neediness. These are low-frequency vibrations that repel rather than attract. However, when you pull back and focus on your growth, something incredible begins to happen. By channeling your energy into self-improvement, you shift from a place of lack to a place of abundance. You stop dwelling on what you don't have and start recognizing the limitless potential within you. This change in focus transforms your entire aura, your confidence grows, your self-worth solidifies, and you start to embody a sense of independence that is magnetic. When you work on yourself, whether it's improving your physical health, pursuing your passions, building your career, or simply finding joy in the little things, you start to create a life that is fulfilling on its own. You no longer need someone else to complete you because you feel whole as you are. This energy of wholeness is incredibly attractive. It's like a light in the darkness, drawing people toward you without you even trying. This shift in energy is not just about external actions, it's deeply internal. It's about changing the way you see yourself and the way you interact with the world. People can sense this change. Even if you're not in direct contact, the energy you project into the universe carries weight. It's as if the person who stepped away can feel the shift, even if they can't explain it. They might start thinking about you more, wondering why they're suddenly reminded of you, or feeling a sense of curiosity about what's changed. Confidence is contagious. When you exude self-assuredness, it makes others take notice. They see someone who isn't clinging, who isn't stuck in the past, but instead someone who is thriving. This triggers a psychological response. People naturally want to be around others who make them feel good, who inspire them, and who seem to have their lives together. When you elevate yourself, you become that person. Another powerful aspect of this process is the law of attraction. This universal principle states that like attracts like. When you operate from a place of confidence, gratitude, and self-love, you attract people and experiences that resonate with those frequencies. This isn't just about romantic relationships, it applies to all areas of life. But in the context of someone returning after no contact, the shift is particularly noticeable. When you stop focusing on what you lack and start living from a place of abundance, it's as if you've sent out an energetic invitation to the universe. You're not begging or pleading for someone to return, you're simply thriving, and that thriving energy pulls people back into your orbit. It's also important to recognize that this transformation isn't about manipulating someone to come back. It's not about playing games or trying to make someone miss you. True self-improvement is genuine and comes from a place of wanting to be the best version of yourself for yourself, not for anyone else. When this authenticity shines through, it becomes even more powerful. People can sense when someone is truly at peace with themselves, and it's an incredibly attractive quality. When you work on yourself, you also create a sense of mystery. The person who stepped away might have thought they knew everything about you, but when they see the changes you've made, it challenges their perceptions. They start to wonder what else has changed, what they might have missed, or who you've become in their absence. This curiosity can be a strong motivator for someone to reach out or return. Radiating confidence and self-assuredness also creates a sense of respect. People are drawn to those who respect themselves, and nothing communicates self-respect more clearly than choosing to prioritize your growth over dwelling on someone who chose to leave. When you respect yourself, others have no choice but to respect you too. This respect often reignites interest and admiration, making someone reconsider their decision to step away. Absence creates space for reflection, making others realize what they've lost or taken for granted. It's a phenomenon deeply rooted in human psychology. When something or someone is constantly present, it's easy to become accustomed to their presence. Over time, familiarity breeds a sense of comfort, and often that comfort turns into complacency. The unique qualities and value of that presence start to fade into the background. But when that presence is suddenly removed, it leaves a noticeable gap. That gap forces the mind to grapple with the void, leading to a deeper understanding of what was once there. Absence acts as a mirror. When someone is no longer around, the other person is compelled to reflect on the relationship, the interactions, and the moments they once shared. In the hustle of daily life, it's easy for people to overlook the subtle yet significant impact someone has on their lives. But when they are gone, those memories resurface with surprising clarity. The laughter, the conversations, the shared experiences, all of it comes flooding back. This flood of emotions often leads to an awakening, a realization of the depth of the connection they had taken for granted. There is a natural tendency in human beings to focus on what is no longer accessible. The moment something becomes scarce, its perceived value increases. This is known as the principle of scarcity, and it applies not just to material possessions but also to relationships. When you're no longer readily available, the other person begins to see your worth more clearly. They start to remember the ways you added value to their life, the ways you supported them, and the ways you made them feel seen and appreciated. Absence also creates an opportunity for contrast. When you are no longer present, the person has to rely on other interactions and relationships to fill the space you once occupied. But not all connections are equal. Often people find that the relationships they turn to in your absence lack the depth, warmth, or authenticity that yours offered. This contrast can be stark and jarring, leading them to long for the connection they once had with you. Time and space allow for emotional clarity. When emotions run high, it's challenging to see things objectively. In the heat of a disagreement or the throes of a breakup, people often make impulsive decisions driven by temporary feelings. But as time passes, those initial emotions begin to settle and clarity emerges. In this clarity, they may begin to see the relationship in a new light. They might recognize their own mistakes or reevaluate the reasons that led to the separation. This period of reflection often highlights what they miss about you, making them question whether they made the right choice in letting you go. Absence also disrupts routines. When someone has been a consistent part of your life, they become woven into the fabric of your daily existence. Their presence influences your habits, your thoughts, and even your emotions. When that person is no longer there, it creates a noticeable disruption. Simple things like not hearing their voice or not sharing moments with them become glaring reminders of their absence. This disruption forces the person to confront the reality of life without you, often making them realize how integral you were to their happiness and stability. Another powerful aspect of absence is that it removes external noise. When two people are constantly in contact, there's often little room for introspection. The constant flow of conversations, emotions, and interactions can cloud judgment and prevent people from truly appreciating what they have. But when contact ceases, it creates a pause. This pause is where true reflection happens. In the silence, the person is left with their thoughts, their memories, and their feelings. This silence can be deafening, forcing them to confront the truth of their emotions and the depth of their connection to you. The phenomenon of absence also taps into a deep-seated human fear, the fear of loss. When someone realizes that they might lose something or someone forever, it triggers a sense of urgency. This fear often leads to a reevaluation of priorities and choices. It compels the person to consider whether they are willing to let go of the connection or whether they should take steps to rekindle it. Absence also shifts the power dynamic in relationships. When you step back and create space, it signals that you are not desperate or reliant on the other person for your happiness. This shift can be both intriguing and inspiring. It shows that you value yourself enough to walk away, which in turn commands respect. This newfound respect often reignites their interest and admiration, prompting them to reconsider their decision to step away. In many cases, absence is a catalyst for growth, not just for the person who steps back, but also for the person who is left behind. It challenges them to face their own emotions, their own choices, and their own shortcomings. It forces them to confront the parts of themselves they might have been avoiding, leading to a deeper understanding of their own desires and needs. This growth often creates a stronger foundation for a renewed connection built on mutual respect and appreciation. Genuine bonds don't break easily even after time apart. Emotions and memories linger, pulling them back. The depth of an emotional connection often transcends the boundaries of time and distance. When two individuals share a meaningful bond, it creates an invisible thread that ties them together, even when circumstances force them apart. This connection is not always obvious in the moment, but it is something that lives in the heart and mind, subtly influencing thoughts, emotions, and decisions. When people build a genuine bond, they create a foundation of trust, intimacy, and shared experiences. These elements are not fleeting, they are etched into the psyche, forming a reservoir of memories and feelings that can resurface at any moment. Even when there's a physical or emotional separation, these bonds remain intact. They are like seeds planted in the soil, lying dormant but capable of growing again when the conditions are right. Time apart often amplifies the power of these bonds. In the absence of regular interaction, the mind tends to wander back to moments of connection. This process is natural because humans are wired to seek out meaning in their relationships. The brain clings to memories that evoke strong emotions, whether they are moments of joy, comfort, or even challenges that were overcome together. These memories are not just stored passively, they become active participants in shaping a person's thoughts and feelings about the relationship. The lingering emotions tied to genuine bonds are often a source of both comfort and longing. They remind the person of what was once shared, a kind of emotional blueprint of the relationship. Even if they try to suppress these feelings or distract themselves, the bond has a way of reasserting itself. It might surface in unexpected ways: a familiar scent, a song on the radio, or a place they once visited together. These triggers act as catalysts, reigniting the connection in their mind and heart. This process is especially pronounced when the bond was built on authenticity and mutual respect. Relationships that are genuine stand out because they are rare. Many interactions in life are surface level or transactional, but a genuine bond digs deeper. It's not about convenience or temporary gratification. It's about two individuals seeing and accepting each other for who they truly are. When someone experiences this level of connection, it becomes a benchmark against which all other relationships are measured. When there is a disconnect or a period of no contact, it gives the other person the space to compare. They begin to notice the absence of the emotional depth and understanding that the bond provided. In a world filled with superficial interactions, genuine connections shine even brighter in their absence. This recognition often sparks a desire to reconnect, as they come to realize that what they had is not easily replaceable. The pull of a genuine bond also lies in its ability to evoke a sense of belonging. Humans crave connections that make them feel seen, valued, and understood. When someone has experienced this with another person, it creates an emotional anchor. Even if they drift away, the memory of that sense of belonging remains, drawing them back when they feel adrift or isolated. This is why people often return to relationships that provided them with emotional security and stability, even after long periods of no contact. Another aspect of this phenomenon is the role of unfinished emotional business. Genuine bonds often leave an indelible mark because they involve layers of emotions that are not easily resolved or forgotten. When someone steps away, they may carry unresolved feelings, questions, regrets, or unspoken words. These unresolved emotions act as a tether, keeping the bond alive in their subconscious mind. Over time, these feelings build up, creating an urge to seek closure or rekindle the relationship. The lingering nature of a genuine bond is also reinforced by the principle of reciprocity. When someone has poured their energy, time, and emotions into a connection, it creates a sense of investment. People are naturally drawn back to the relationships they've invested in because those connections hold a deeper significance. The more meaningful the bond, the stronger this pull becomes. It's not just about the other person, it's also about the parts of themselves they shared and discovered through the relationship. Even in challenging circumstances, a genuine bond has a way of enduring. It's not about perfection or an absence of conflict. In fact, the ability to navigate difficulties together often strengthens the connection. When someone reflects on the relationship, they are likely to remember not just the good times, but also the resilience and understanding that helped them overcome obstacles. These memories serve as a testament to the strength of the bond, reinforcing its value in their mind. Over time, the emotional weight of a genuine bond becomes undeniable. It seeps into the person's thoughts, shaping their perspective on what they want and need in their relationships. This reflection often leads them to the realization that what they had was special, worth preserving, and possibly worth fighting for. Personal growth during time apart can make you more intriguing, sparking curiosity and admiration. When a person chooses to focus on their growth and development after a period of separation, the transformation often becomes evident in ways that are both subtle and profound. This shift creates a ripple effect that resonates far beyond the individual. Growth radiates outward, influencing how others perceive you, especially someone who has known you before. Time apart creates a space for introspection, self-discovery, and improvement. During this period, when the focus shifts inward rather than outward, it sets the stage for genuine transformation. People often use this time to reevaluate their goals, embrace new opportunities, and challenge old patterns of behavior. This internal evolution manifests externally, altering how they carry themselves, interact with others, and even approach life's challenges. This transformation naturally attracts attention, as change, particularly when it's positive, is captivating. Growth also rewrites the narrative that someone holds about you. In relationships, people often categorize and define each other based on shared experiences and familiar patterns. When they're apart from you, those old perceptions remain frozen in time. But when they encounter the new, it creates a sense of surprise and intrigue. They begin to see facets of you they hadn't noticed before or never imagined existed. This renewed perspective piques their curiosity and makes them want to understand the person you've become during their absence. The intrigue generated by personal growth lies not just in the visible changes like a new career accomplishment, a healthier lifestyle, or newfound skills, but also in the intangible qualities that emerge. Confidence, clarity, and purpose are powerful forces that naturally draw people in. When someone senses that you've grown into a more self-assured, purpose-driven version of yourself, it can create a magnetic pull. These qualities are rare and enviable, and they inspire admiration, even from those who might have once taken you for granted. During this period of separation, the other person often assumes a static view of who you are. They remember the last version of you they encountered, and in their mind, that's who you remain. But when they see evidence of change, whether through social media, mutual acquaintances, or a chance encounter, it challenges their assumptions. The gap between who they thought you were and who you've become creates an element of mystery. It's human nature to be drawn to what we don't fully understand, and this mystery can make you irresistible in their eyes. Growth also demonstrates resilience. When someone sees that you've used time apart to better yourself instead of wallowing in despair, it sends a powerful message. It shows that you are capable of thriving independently, that you are not defined by the relationship or its absence. This resilience commands respect and admiration. It shifts the dynamic, making the other person view you not as someone who needs them, but as someone who chooses to focus on their well-being and future. The improvements you make during this time often highlight areas where the other person might feel stagnant. Your progress can act as a mirror, reflecting their own insecurities or unfulfilled potential. This realization can evoke a mix of emotions, including envy, regret, or inspiration. It's not uncommon for someone to be drawn back to you because they see you as a source of motivation, someone who embodies the kind of growth they aspire to achieve. Moreover, growth during separation signals emotional maturity. It shows that you have the ability to process and navigate the complexities of life without losing sight of your own aspirations. Emotional maturity is an attractive quality as it indicates stability, self-awareness, and a readiness to handle deeper connections. When someone witnesses this maturity, it can spark a renewed interest in exploring the relationship, especially if they feel that your growth complements their own journey. The changes you make during time apart also create a sense of unpredictability. Relationships often settle into routines, and people come to expect certain behaviors from each other. But when you've grown, those expectations are disrupted. The person realizes that they can no longer predict your reactions, choices, or outlook. This unpredictability keeps them engaged and intrigued, wondering what new aspects of your personality or life they might discover. Another key factor in this dynamic is the impact of your growth on shared memories. When the other person reflects on the past, they do so with the last version of you in mind, but your transformation recontextualizes those memories. They begin to see those shared moments in a new light, appreciating them more deeply because of the person you've become. This nostalgia, combined with the curiosity about your growth, creates a compelling emotional pull that often brings them back into your orbit. As your personal growth unfolds, it also influences how others talk about you. Mutual friends, acquaintances, or even social media connections may notice the changes and comment on them. These observations can reach the person who has been absent, sparking a desire to reconnect and witness your transformation firsthand. This indirect reinforcement of your growth amplifies its impact, making you even more intriguing in their eyes. In the end, the process of self-improvement isn't about proving anything to anyone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself for your own sake. But the ripple effect of this journey often touches the lives of those around you, particularly those who once held a significant place in your life. Familiarity and comfort can act as a powerful pull, drawing someone back to what once felt like home. Human beings are creatures of habit, and the relationships they form often become intertwined with their sense of identity and emotional security. When someone has shared moments of vulnerability, laughter, and intimacy with another person, those experiences carve a lasting imprint on their memory and emotions. Even after separation, these feelings of familiarity don't simply vanish. Instead, they linger, quietly influencing thoughts and actions. The comfort of familiarity arises from the deep emotional roots that grow within a close relationship. It's in the shared routines, the inside jokes, the unique ways you communicate with each other, and the sense of being truly understood. These elements combine to create a sense of belonging, a place where someone feels they can be their authentic self without fear of judgment. This kind of emotional sanctuary is rare, and when it's lost, it often leaves a void that other relationships struggle to fill. The mind naturally gravitates toward what is familiar, especially during periods of uncertainty or stress. When life becomes overwhelming, people instinctively seek out sources of comfort and stability. If a relationship provided that sense of safety, it's only natural for the person to reminisce about it and yearn to return to it. This isn't just about nostalgia, it's about seeking solace in a place or person that once made them feel whole. The familiarity you shared becomes a kind of emotional anchor, grounding them in a world that often feels chaotic. This anchor is built on the predictability of knowing someone deeply the way you could finish each other's sentences, anticipate their needs, or understand their emotions without words. It's the kind of connection that doesn't need constant explanation or justification. It simply exists, offering a sense of ease that's difficult to replicate elsewhere. When someone experiences new relationships or interactions after a separation, they often find themselves comparing them to the connection they had with you. These comparisons can be subtle, almost subconscious, but they are powerful. They might notice that new conversations lack the depth of the ones you shared, or that other relationships feel transactional rather than genuine. This contrast makes them appreciate the bond they had with you even more, reinforcing the pull of familiarity. Comfort doesn't always come from the absence of conflict sometimes. It's found in the resilience that was built within the relationship. The arguments you resolved, the challenges you overcame together, and the growth you experienced as a team create a narrative of endurance and strength. These memories serve as reminders of the unique foundation you built, making it hard for them to let go completely. The sense of "we've been through so much together" becomes a compelling reason to reconsider what was lost. The concept of emotional muscle memory also plays a role here. Just as the body remembers how to perform a familiar physical task, the heart and mind remember the emotional patterns of a relationship. The way you made them feel, whether it was loved, supported, or understood, becomes a touchstone they unconsciously seek to replicate. Even if they try to move on, the emotional resonance of those moments keeps pulling them back. Another aspect of this dynamic is the influence of shared spaces and rituals. The places you visited together, the traditions you created, and even the daily routines you shared become imbued with meaning. These memories are tied to specific environments, and revisiting those places can trigger a flood of emotions. Whether it's a favorite restaurant, a park you frequented, or a song that played during a significant moment, these triggers serve as reminders of the comfort and familiarity they associate with you. Time apart often magnifies these feelings. When someone steps away from the relationship, they might initially feel relief or curiosity about new possibilities. But as time passes, they begin to notice the absence of the comfort you provided. The little things that seemed insignificant at the time, like your smile when they were stressed, or the way you knew how to cheer them up, become glaringly significant in hindsight. This realization deepens their longing for what they had with you. Familiarity is also tied to a sense of identity. When someone shares a close bond with another person, that relationship becomes part of their story. It shapes how they see themselves and how they navigate the world. Losing that connection can feel like losing a piece of themselves, prompting them to seek a way back to that sense of wholeness. The relationship becomes a touchstone for their personal history, something that feels too integral to simply walk away from. The pull of comfort is further reinforced by the effortlessness of being with someone who truly knows you. In new relationships, there's often a phase of learning and adapting to each other's quirks, preferences, and habits. This process can be exciting but also exhausting. In contrast, the ease of slipping back into a relationship where all of that groundwork has already been laid is incredibly appealing. It's like returning to a well-worn path where the steps feel natural and unforced. Even in moments of frustration or disappointment, the overall sense of familiarity and comfort can outweigh the negatives. This isn't about settling or clinging to the past. It's about recognizing the unique value of a connection that feels like home. When someone realizes that what they had with you was not just rare but irreplaceable, it often ignites a desire to rekindle the relationship, driven by the profound pull of familiarity and comfort. Unresolved emotions act as silent echoes, reverberating in a person's mind long after a relationship has ended. These feelings create a complex emotional residue that can be difficult to ignore. They linger, often surfacing in quiet moments, reminding someone of what once was, what could have been, and what remains unfinished. This lack of closure becomes a powerful force, drawing them back toward the person with whom these emotions are tied. When a relationship ends without clear resolution, it leaves a void that the mind naturally seeks to fill. People are wired to seek understanding and closure in order to make sense of their experiences. When that closure is absent, the relationship takes on an unfinished quality, like a story missing its final chapter. The mind replays past interactions, searching for meaning, clarity, or justification. This cyclical thought process creates a mental tether, keeping the other person firmly in focus. Unresolved emotions are not confined to sadness or regret. They often encompass a wide range of feelings, from anger and frustration to nostalgia and longing. These emotions coexist, sometimes conflicting with one another, creating a storm of thoughts that can be difficult to escape. For instance, someone might feel frustrated about how things ended while simultaneously longing for the warmth and connection they once felt. This emotional duality makes moving on particularly challenging, as the person becomes caught between what they wish they could change and what they wish they could have back. The power of unresolved emotions lies in their ability to distort time and memory. When someone reflects on a relationship, they often do so through the lens of their current feelings. If they're feeling lonely, they might idealize the past, focusing on the positive aspects of the relationship while minimizing its challenges. This selective memory creates a longing to reconnect, driven by the belief that returning to the relationship could bring back the happiness they remember. In some cases, unresolved emotions stem from unanswered questions. Why did things end the way they did? Could something have been done differently? Did the other person feel the same way? These questions linger, feeding a sense of incompleteness. Without answers, the mind fills in the blanks, often imagining scenarios that deepen the emotional connection to the past. This need for understanding can drive someone to seek out the person they once loved, hoping to find the closure or clarity they couldn't achieve on their own. The absence of closure also leaves room for hope, even if it's unspoken. Without a definitive ending, there's always a possibility, however slim, that the relationship could be rekindled. This hope keeps the door to the past slightly ajar, allowing unresolved emotions to flow freely. Each memory, each reminder becomes a thread in a tapestry of what-ifs, keeping the connection alive even in separation. These lingering emotions often resurface during moments of vulnerability. A familiar scent, a song, or a shared memory can trigger a flood of feelings, bringing the other person to the forefront of their mind. These triggers are often unexpected and deeply personal, catching the individual off guard and intensifying their longing for resolution. The strength of these triggers lies in their ability to evoke not just memories, but the emotions associated with those memories, making them feel as vivid as if they were happening in the present. Unresolved emotions can also act as a mirror, reflecting the parts of oneself that remain tied to the past. Relationships often serve as a catalyst for personal growth, and their endings can leave unfinished lessons or unresolved conflicts. When someone revisits these emotions, they're not just confronting the other person, they're confronting themselves. This introspection can create a powerful pull to revisit the relationship, not just for the sake of the other person, but to address the unresolved aspects of their own growth and healing. The passage of time doesn't always diminish unresolved emotions. In some cases, it amplifies them. As someone gains perspective, they might come to realize the significance of what they lost. They might see the relationship in a new light, appreciating its value in ways they couldn't before. This retrospective understanding can reignite feelings they thought had faded, drawing them back to the person who played such a pivotal role in their life. The lack of closure also leaves space for guilt to take root. They might replay moments where they felt they could have done better, said something differently, or acted with more care. This guilt becomes intertwined with their emotions, creating a sense of responsibility to make things right. This sense of unfinished business can drive them to seek reconciliation, not just to alleviate their own guilt, but to bring peace to the relationship as a whole. Unresolved emotions are deeply connected to the human need for connection and understanding. Relationships are rarely black and white. They are a mosaic of shared experiences, emotions, and growth. When those connections are severed without clarity or resolution, they leave an imprint that is difficult to erase. This imprint becomes a constant reminder of what was and what remains incomplete, compelling someone to seek out the person who holds the other half of their story. The mind's need for narrative completion is another factor that keeps unresolved emotions alive. People crave stories with a beginning, middle, and end. When a relationship ends abruptly or ambiguously, it disrupts this natural narrative flow. The desire to complete the story, to tie up loose ends, becomes a driving force. This is not just about understanding the past, it's about creating a sense of emotional harmony in the present. Unresolved emotions are a testament to the depth and complexity of human relationships. They reveal how deeply intertwined people become, not just with each other, but with the shared history and emotions they create together. These emotions, though challenging, are a reflection of the profound impact one person can have on another, even after they are no longer present. The human mind is intricately connected to the power of shared memories, which serve as emotional bookmarks in the narrative of a relationship. These moments, filled with laughter, intimacy, and even challenges, become deeply ingrained in a person's consciousness. When someone has shared a significant portion of their life with another, those experiences create an indelible mark, one that's not easily erased by time or distance. This is because memories are more than mere recollections. They carry emotions, meanings, and connections that keep the past alive. Shared memories are powerful because they are uniquely tied to the individuals who experience them. No two people will ever have the exact same set of memories. And this exclusivity creates a bond that is difficult to replicate. It's the way someone remembers the sound of their partner's laugh during a silly moment, the shared triumph over a challenge, or the quiet comfort of simply being together. These memories act as a private archive, a collection of moments that belong solely to the two people involved. When someone reflects on a past relationship, these shared memories often surface unbidden in their mind. A familiar scent might remind them of a special day. A song might take them back to a meaningful moment. Or a particular phrase might echo something their partner used to say. These triggers are not random. They are the mind's way of preserving and revisiting what once felt significant. Each memory brings with it a cascade of emotions, happiness, nostalgia, longing, and sometimes even regret. This emotional connection is what makes shared memories so impactful, as they keep the presence of the other person alive in the individual's thoughts. Memories are also deeply tied to a sense of identity. When someone has been in a close relationship, their experiences with their partner become part of who they are. The places they visited together, the traditions they created, and the milestones they celebrated all contribute to their personal history. Losing the relationship doesn't erase these elements. Instead, it leaves a void that the mind seeks to fill. Revisiting shared memories becomes a way of reconnecting with a part of themselves, a part that feels incomplete without the other person. The emotional weight of shared memories is often heightened during moments of solitude or introspection. When life slows down and there's time to reflect, the mind naturally gravitates towards significant moments from the past. These memories can feel comforting, like revisiting an old photograph that captures a time of happiness and connection. Even if the relationship ended on less than perfect terms, the positive memories often stand out, as the mind tends to prioritize joy over pain. This selective memory creates a sense of longing for the person who was once an integral part of those moments. The strength of shared memories is amplified by their sensory nature. Memories are not just visual, they engage all the senses, making them vivid and immersive. The taste of a favorite meal shared together, the feel of a comforting touch, the sound of a laugh, or the sight of a familiar expression, all these sensory details bring the past to life in a way that feels immediate and real. These sensory triggers are deeply personal, creating a bond that is difficult to sever, even when the relationship itself has ended. Shared memories also serve as a reminder of the potential that existed within the relationship. They highlight the moments when things felt right, when the connection was strong and unshakable. These memories can spark a sense of what if things could be that good again? What if the challenges could be overcome? This sense of potential fuels the desire to reconnect, as the individual clings to the hope that the best moments of the past can be recreated in the future. Time has a way of altering the way memories are perceived. As the days, months, and years pass, the sharp edges of conflict and pain tend to soften, leaving the highlights of the relationship in sharper focus. This phenomenon, often referred to as rose-tinted retrospection, makes the past seem more appealing than it might have felt in the moment. The memories of shared laughter, support, and intimacy become a beacon, guiding the person back to the relationship that brought them those experiences. Shared memories also create a sense of unfinished business. Each relationship carries its own story, complete with highs, lows, and everything in between. When that story ends prematurely or abruptly, it leaves a lingering sense of incompleteness. The shared memories become chapters in a book that feels unfinished, prompting the individual to revisit them in the hopes of finding closure or even writing a new ending. The value of shared memories is magnified by their irreplaceability. While new relationships can create new memories, they will never replicate the unique combination of experiences, emotions, and connections that define the old relationship. This sense of uniqueness makes the past relationship feel irreplaceable, and the shared memories act as a testament to its significance. The individual becomes drawn back, not just to the person, but to the shared history that can never be duplicated. Memories are also deeply intertwined with a sense of belonging. The moments of connection, understanding, and intimacy shared in a relationship create a feeling of being truly seen and accepted. When those memories resurface, they bring with them a sense of belonging that might be missing in the present. This longing for connection, for a return to a time when things felt whole, drives the individual to seek out the person who shared those memories with them. The power of shared memories lies in their ability to transcend time and circumstance. They capture the essence of a relationship, preserving its highs and softening its lows. These memories serve as a bridge between the past and the present, keeping the connection alive in the individual's heart and mind. As they replay those moments, they are reminded of the bond they shared, the joy they experienced, and the unique relationship that left such a lasting impact. The pull of emotional familiarity is one of the most profound forces in human relationships, acting as a psychological anchor that connects people to their past experiences. This connection is rooted in the comfort and security that comes from knowing and being known by someone else. In a world filled with uncertainties and constant change, emotional familiarity offers a sense of stability. It creates a bond that feels safe and predictable, even in its complexities. For someone who has experienced a meaningful relationship, this familiarity becomes an intrinsic part of their emotional landscape, making it difficult to sever ties completely. When two people share a deep connection, they become attuned to each other's rhythms, habits, and emotional states. This emotional attunement creates a unique dynamic where both parties feel understood and accepted. Over time, this shared understanding becomes second nature, embedding itself into their daily lives. It's not just about the routines they shared or the places they visited, it's about the way they made each other feel. That feeling of being seen, valued, and appreciated is not something that can be easily replaced. And it becomes a touchstone that the mind instinctively returns to during moments of reflection. The power of emotional familiarity lies in its ability to make people feel at ease. In the presence of someone who truly knows them, individuals can let their guard down, showing their authentic selves without fear of judgment. This level of comfort is rare and precious, and once it's experienced, it sets a benchmark for all future interactions. When that emotional familiarity is lost, it leaves a void that's hard to fill. People naturally gravitate back toward what feels familiar because it offers a sense of belonging that's deeply rooted in their emotional history. This pull is especially strong during times of stress, uncertainty, or loneliness. When faced with challenges or periods of upheaval, the mind seeks out sources of comfort and reassurance. Emotional familiarity provides a sanctuary, a place where individuals feel understood and connected. Memories of a past relationship can evoke this sense of comfort, drawing someone back to the person who once provided it. Even if the relationship ended, the emotional bond created during its course often remains intact, acting as a beacon during turbulent times. The role of emotional familiarity is further reinforced by the predictability it offers. Human beings are creatures of habit, drawn to patterns and routines that provide a sense of order. In a relationship, these patterns are established through shared experiences, rituals, and behaviors. Over time, they become a source of stability, grounding individuals in a shared reality. When these patterns are disrupted by the end of a relationship, it creates a sense of disorientation. The mind, craving the comfort of familiarity, seeks to reestablish those patterns by rekindling the connection with the person who was part of them. Emotional familiarity also fosters a sense of safety. In a close relationship, both individuals become attuned to each other's needs, fears, and vulnerabilities. This mutual understanding creates a safe space where they can express themselves without fear of rejection. This sense of safety is deeply comforting and can be difficult to replicate with someone new. When a person reflects on a past relationship, they often recall the times when they felt most secure and supported, reinforcing their emotional connection to the other person. The influence of emotional familiarity extends beyond the relationship itself. It shapes the way individuals perceive themselves and the world around them. In the context of a loving and supportive relationship, people often see themselves in a positive light as their partner's affection and admiration validate their worth. This validation becomes intertwined with the relationship, creating a powerful incentive to return to it. Losing the relationship can feel like losing a part of one's identity, prompting a desire to reconnect and regain that sense of self. Even in relationships that had their challenges, emotional familiarity can still hold a powerful sway. The mind tends to prioritize positive memories, emphasizing the good times over the bad. This selective memory reinforces the appeal of the relationship, making it seem more idealized in hindsight. The comfort of familiarity can overshadow the reasons for the relationship's end, creating a yearning to return to what once felt good and stable. The passage of time often deepens the allure of emotional familiarity. As people navigate new experiences and relationships, they inevitably compare them to what they've known before. The unique connection and understanding shared in a past relationship become a benchmark against which all other connections are measured. When new relationships fall short, the pull of emotional familiarity grows stronger, drawing the individual back toward the person who once fulfilled those needs. The significance of emotional familiarity is heightened by its exclusivity. No one else can replicate the exact dynamic shared between two people in a particular relationship. This uniqueness makes the bond feel irreplaceable, as it represents a singular chapter in their lives. The memories, emotions, and experiences tied to that relationship become a part of their personal narrative, and returning to it feels like revisiting a part of themselves. Ultimately, emotional familiarity is a reflection of the human need for connection and understanding. It's about more than just shared history. It's about the way that history made them feel. It's about the comfort of being known and accepted, the joy of shared moments, and the safety of a relationship that felt like home. Even in separation, the echoes of that emotional familiarity remain, calling out to be rekindled.